and welcome to Lancer Central. I'm your host, Sam Hovan. You might notice we're taking a different approach to the show right now. With no games on the schedule for the moment and no top plays to ooh and ah over, we wanted to focus on stories. That means we have a chance to take some creative angles and approaches to Lancer Central, and we're starting with a special interview. I had a chance to sit down with Longwood Athletic Director Michelle Meadows and talk with her about the COVID-19 pandemic, the response, and what life looks like going forward. We really appreciate you joining us today, Michelle, here at Lancer Central. I know this has been difficult, strange, and I hate to say it because it feels like a cliche, but unprecedented really is the right word because it's not something anybody's experienced before. We're still learning about the coronavirus, and as a result, it seems like the information and guidelines change over time, especially when it comes to sports. Even with that, what kind of have been your guiding principles as you've tried to help Longwood navigate this?
Sure. Well, one, thank you for the opportunity to be here, and nothing gives me greater joy than to talk about our student athletes and our staff and all the great things that they're doing. So it's a pleasure to be here. Unprecedented is definitely the right term, but since the very beginning, our priorities have first and foremost been the health and safety of our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, in everything that we have had to think through from a protocol standpoint of how do we navigate athletics in a coronavirus environment. Secondly, I would say would be creating a quality student athlete experience. You know, that is what we are here to do, and we're definitely in a unique environment in how we provide that now, but that's always at the forefront of our focus. And then thirdly, I would say is being aware and taking ownership that we are stewards within our own community. You know, so everything that we do not only impacts us, but it impacts our campus community as well as the Farmville community. So we want to make sure everything that we are doing is supporting the health and safety of everyone around us.
And I mean, everyone always is going to want to know, well, hey, when are sports going to be back to normal? I don't really think that's a super fair question because you know, the emoji shrug is kind of where it's at. Instead, I want to ask, like, how do you approach even trying to prepare to play? Like, what do you look at?
Yeah, so we're receiving a lot of guidance from various sources, the first being the NCAA. They have a COVID advisory panel that has been providing guidance to the NCAA membership ever since probably the early summer. So that is a big driver in what we are looking at and how we implement that into our protocols because those are the experts we're depending upon. We're also fortunate to have an internal working group that I created and asked Rick Canner to chair early in the summer so that they could be keeping a pulse on all the new information that was coming out and how did that need to be incorporated into the protocols we were going to put in place once we knew our student athletes were returning.
What are some of the things that have happened?
So part of that guidance is kind of 4 critical areas. First is mask wearing. The second is social distancing. The third is proper hygiene. And the fourth is quality sanitation. So within your facilities, your equipment. So we've incorporated all 4 of those elements into our communal spaces. So our athletic training room, our weight room, our academic space, and then into our practice protocols, social distancing and masking. And then we've also done educational series for all of our teams to give them this guidance as well. So hopefully they're using those things on their own time as well.
And this is something, I mean, you talk a lot about student athletes, but the athletics department is made up of a large group of people. Family's a big core value of that athletics department. How do you maintain that bond when everything just shuts down point blank like it did?
I think with everything looks different. Our core mission, our core values, our core purposes remain the same, but things do look and feel a little bit different. So, you know, we normally have an end-of-year celebration in May where we're able to gather all of our staff and their families and just come together and celebrate the year and say thank you. Obviously, we weren't able to do things like that. The way in which I think we've tried to maintain it, and especially in a situation like this, is, you know, over communicating is highly valued, sharing information with folks. So in various ways, we've tried to make sure we are communicating. We've had regular meetings with our head coaches via Zoom. Our executive team does a really good job of sharing information throughout their units, and then our coaches sharing information with student athletes. I would say the second element that I've tried to make sure that I am very intentional about is having as much personal touch as I can with folks, because it's not just about what we're navigating in Longwood Athletics. Our staff are navigating their own challenges with their kids and their schooling. And so taking time out to check in with folks and say, how are you doing? What are the challenges that you're facing? How can we accommodate that, whether it's some remote work, but just making sure to stay connected with folks and just see how they're doing. At the end of the day, it's about the people.
With that being said, how do you approach the rest of this semester? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so probably early in the summer, I found myself, when people would ask me, how are you doing? I would say I'm taking it one day at a time. Because in actuality, that's really all that we can do. Things are changing constantly. But recently, I have found I wanted to be a little bit more intentional, mostly for myself, but it's something I'm sharing with other people, is I don't want to just take one day at a time. I want to attack one day at a time. So I want to take the information, take what we know, and let's really get after the day and do everything we can focused on those principles of the health and safety of our student athletes and staff, our community, and the student athlete experience. And let's do everything within our power with what we know each and every day. And it's going to change, and being okay with that.
We really appreciate your time, and yeah, we're looking forward to the rest of the semester, whatever comes.
Thank you, Sam. It's been great to be with you.
Thanks again, Michelle. We really appreciate you spending some time with us at Lancer Central. Now we turn to one of our student athletes. When everything shuts down, how do you stay in shape to be ready to go whenever things return to some sense of normalcy? Our Tyler Hall has the story on how Madison Van Dyke kept herself on top of her game.
Staying in shape during a pandemic is no easy task, and the same can be said for the Longwood women's soccer team. A player that knows firsthand how to stay in top shape during an off-season is senior women's goalkeeper for the Lancers, Madison Van Dyke.
Nifty move, left-footed shot, Van Dyke up ahead, header on goal, Van Dyke in close, Van Dyke slides in.
Longwood women's soccer assistant coach Rich Stoneman works very hard to keep his athletes in shape and knows what it takes to maintain your physical fitness at a collegiate level.
Well, I think during these times, the one controllable variable that you do have as a Division I athlete is your fitness. I think you definitely can control that. We try and implement fitness into everything we do here. We have a saying that fitness gets you on the field, your soccer keeps you on the field. But everything we do is anaerobic, aerobic. We want to mimic the same types of movements that they'll have during the games, and the game is the best teacher when it comes to fitness.
Van Dyke has not let anything get in the way of living out her dream as a Division I athlete and has done her best to stay healthy during the recent months since COVID-19 affected Longwood's campus.
So in the summertime, I was practicing it like 3 times a week with my old club coach, and we would have like other girls from other schools and guys also, and they would do shooting drills. We did a lot of agility stuff and a lot of conditioning, so that was mostly what I was doing. And I would go to the gym, obviously, to try to get a lift in when it opened up, but before then I was just doing like at-home workouts with lifts that I had.
Coach Stoneman dedicates a lot of his time at practices to helping his goalkeepers work on skills that will benefit them on the field. There are 3 qualities Stoneman seeks out of his goalkeepers here at Longwood.
You know, I would say the things that goalkeepers need to have are, you got to have some guts, right? You got to have some knowledge of the game that's in front of you, and you have to be good. You have to be good with the ball at your feet as well.
I was lucky enough to be invited onto the pitch by Coach Stoneman and Van Dyke to experience firsthand what it takes to stay in shape as a goalkeeper at a D1 level. Will I make it out alive? Let's find out. I was extremely thankful that Van Dyke opted to go first, because not only did I have a lot to learn, I had a lot of nerves building up. Soccer, or pretty much fitness in general, is probably not my strong suit. This drill was high intensity from the start, so man was I in for a treat. Watching Madison hit strive to strive exactly what she needed to accomplish put more stress on my shoulders. As you can see, I am slowly realizing I may have bitten off more than I can chew. What did I get myself into today? Luckily for me, Coach Stoneman gives great advice on proper techniques, so here goes nothing. My first dive attempt was a success in my book, but a little slow to get up. Then number 2 came, and another successful dive, but I should have never gotten cocky, because that slow roll of mine right here was a reality check. I asked for 2 more dives for my redemption, and I think I did pretty well, and I even earned a good job from Coach Stoneman.
Good job, good job, good job.
Those drills were merely warm-ups, and I have an even stronger respect for the effort that players like Van Dyke give on a daily basis. This is Tyler Hall for Lancer Central. Back to Sam in the studio.
We're back with you now. We have a chance to talk to Tyler about some of what you experienced in that piece. So my first question, how brutal was it? How hard were you breathing?
How hard was I breathing? And I think because you were there on the scene as well, and I think you could tell the most. I was not doing the greatest in terms of my shape. The quarantine pounds I definitely gained over the last couple months, and I'm not in shape. So I think it was a very big challenge for me, and I think it was very entertaining on Coach Stoneman and Madison's side as well to see that what the work that they're putting themselves through is no joke, because I'm still feeling the aftermath.
And I would say they talked about it. It's kind of a pregame warm-up, and it certainly wasn't the complete set. There were cones on the other side. I bet they would have done the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know.
Yeah, I'm thankful that they didn't do other side. Just speaking on my shape right now, but I've seen them like many games in the past, and I've seen the work that all the it's just in terms of the goalie staff, the goalie side of the team. I've seen all the work they put in, and just the mere few minutes of work that I put in doesn't amount to anything that they're doing. I mean,
does it give you like a special appreciation for what they can do?
In my opinion, I think the goalie position is probably one of the, it's the backbone of the team. I mean, if the goalie's not doing the greatest, if the score is not great, sometimes it's on the goalie. I definitely appreciate all the shape that they put themselves in. A lot of people just think it's just a stationary job where they're standing there if the ball's on the other side of the field, but it's constant moving, and you have to be in your top shape even if you're manning just one position, one little 18-foot area, which is what the goalie does. So it's tough.
Hopefully you're not too sore.
In due time. We'll check back with me tomorrow.
All right. That'll do it for us for this episode of Lancer Central. For Tyler and our entire crew, I'm Sam Hovan. We're signing off today.